just noticed. I cannot see the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Yippee, I made it this time. Hi, how you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Ghost loves letter X. Hello, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well as well. Oh, Snappier, that amazing artist we found. You were like really cool, dude. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. But yeah. Surprise, I also do ASMR on Saturdays. Well, I guess it's technically Sunday now. For me, at least. But I think I made all these assets for the Christmas ASMR stream. And I used them once. And that was it. So I'm using them again tonight because I wanna get my use out of them. But yeah, to be completely honest, I don't really have a plan for tonight. I forgot to make one. So what I think I'm gonna do is, since it's no longer Christmas, it's like Christmas is dead, right? So it's like spooky because it's like I don't know. It's a ghost. Oh my gosh, my laptop fan. Can you be quiet? Can you simmer down, buddy? But yeah, since Christmas is like a ghost now, and ghosts are like really spooky and scary, I thought I would read some really terrible Christmas-themed creepypastas. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. What else did I want to do? Oh yeah, and I'm just gonna like yap and test some triggers because I don't really have a plan. Let me move my chat to my other monitor. But yeah, if you also have like trigger requests or anything, I can do that as well. But yeah, let's see. Do we want to start off with one with a very high rating on creepypasta.com or a low rating? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the low rating because how good can a Christmas-themed creepypasta really be? I feel like they're all a little scuffed in some way, except for the very few good ones. I don't know, maybe I'll be surprised. But I don't want to start reading any like really long ones because I'm only here for like an hour. But yeah, this stream is reading scuffed Christmas creepypastas to fall asleep to. That is the theme of this stream. Yeah. And then I'll do some triggers. After that. Like, I don't know. Like tapping on whatever this is. Can you guys tell what this is? It is. It is a is my favorite teacup. And it is my favorite teacup because it has a picture on it. And that picture is of Jeremy Fisher. You know Jeremy Fisher, the frog. Glass sounds. It is, I don't know what material this is. It's like ceramic. Sorry about my laptop fan. I'm gonna close Firefox. There we go. What if I put the teacup on your head? It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Your head is too large. Your head is too large. Your brain is too big. Your brain is far too big. But I think that just means that you're clever. Also, when I was doing the Christmas ASMR the other day, and I was asking what people wanted for Christmas, I discovered a new trigger word. A new trigger word, yeah. And that trigger word is Apple AirPods. Apple AirPods. Apple AirPods. Apple AirPods. Your little avatar is adorable. I'm glad you think so. I'm glad. But. Don't let that fool you. He's very dangerous. Look. I'm sorry. Okay. I think I actually want to start off with a regular creepypasta. Just because I've never done a creepypasta reading before. The only thing I've actually read on one of these streams is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which took like 20 minutes, so I think I'm gonna start with this one, which is called Turn It Off. And from what I read, it's a pretty typical creepypasta bit. The only reason I'm reading this one is because Creepcast haven't done it. And so that means that I don't know it. I don't really want to this? Teacup. Oh wait. Also, let me get this Christmas hat off your head real quick. I will just mute very briefly. Okay. Oh my gosh, the fan noise is incredible. The fan noise is incredible now. Oh well, it's okay. We persist. Alright. Story time. Can you guys guess what this is that I have in my hand? That you definitely can't see on the screen. It is a book. It is a book. And in it is this creepypasta that I am about to read. Yeah. Definitely. I'm definitely not reading off my laptop. I'm definitely not reading off my laptop and using book sounds for immersion. No, that is not what is happening. But yeah, okay. Let us go to page 1. Okay. Turn It Off is the name of the pasta. And I don't know where to find the author's name. But if it's good, I will find that afterwards. And if it's not good, I will do that anyway. Because it is only polite. Okay. I rested my arms behind my head. Sorry. I rested my arms behind my head, skim reading the credits of a movie I just watched. After seeing them through about halfway, I lifted myself from the sofa and walked to the kitchen, stretching my arms out above me. I opened the fridge door and found a full carton of juice, so I sat down on the kitchen counter by the window, cracked open the lid, and took several long, noisy gulps. Oh my gosh. When I couldn't drink anymore, I gasped to let in new air and wiped my mouth on the back of my hand. My evenings were uneventful around this time in summer. It was around 9:15 p.m. on a Saturday in July. School was out for the holidays, and my parents had gone to visit my aunt and uncle who lived by the coast. They would still be gone for 2 more weeks, so I declined the invitation to join them. I didn't dislike the place or my relatives, but we usually stayed there so long that I'd miss most of my summer break, and I'd truthfully rather spend it with my friends in town. I was a good kid who knew how to wash clothes and use an oven, and generally not an idiot, so they let me stay at the house so long as I kept it clean. Okay. As I sat, I looked out into the garden to check for anything scary in the dark. It was empty and black. I kind of wished we had a pet. A dog or a cat would be nice about now. But their hair always made me sneeze and my eyes go red and itchy. With that in mind, my dad said no, even though I wouldn't mind it. At 9:22 p.m., I put the rest of the juice carton in its place. The bushes were their usual shape. 2 small trees stood together by the black fence, and a metal table with 4 chairs set casually on the patio. I like to check these things, which is largely why I wasn't scared of the dark. I would always get up to investigate small noises in the night, and I hated sleeping with my face to the wall. If someone was in my room at night, I'd rather know about it, so at least there was the faintest chance of getting away somehow. This meant that my worries were quickly put to rest, as I either found nothing downstairs but the radiator popping with the heat, or opened my eyes to see an empty bedroom. Couldn't relate. I sleep facing the wall. I could not sleep. I could not sleep facing the open bedroom. That is psychopathic behavior. Okay. Where was I? Not knowing what could be making the odd noises coming from the kitchen, or the stairs, or in my room is what made my skin creep. At 9:30 p.m., I got down from the counter and wandered back into the living room to turn off the TV, and decided to take the rest of the juice upstairs. I went back to the kitchen, opened the fridge door, and stopped. Turning my head to focus outside, I could see someone was standing in the garden. What are they doing out there? I shut the fridge door and turned the lights off so they couldn't see me so easily. I moved slowly to lean on the kitchen counter to get a better look. All the doors were locked, and all the neighbors were home. I took a moment to remind myself this. Still, my heart quickened a bit as I stood there, straining to see his or her shape in the darkness at the edge of the garden. I had to keep glancing away to keep their fuzzy outline clear in my vision. They were standing very still and were a little thin, but that's all I could see. I couldn't tell anything else. And then... wonderful. Advertisements. Yes. There are advertisements in my book. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Oh, I said aloud. It was the garden umbrella leaning up against the back fence. I forgot that we used it for barbecues. I smiled at myself, pleased that I didn't get too worked up, and went upstairs to my bedroom. I lay on the bed and propped my head up on a pillow, opening my laptop on my stomach to see if anybody else was online. Apparently someone else was bored and saw my name pop up. And then Chris, hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm bored. Are your parents still away? For a couple more weeks. Why don't I come around? I don't want to be rude, but I kind of can't be bothered to hang out tonight, lol. Thanks, though. Relatable. And then Chris says, I know what you mean, it's cool. What about tomorrow? And then the protagonist says, yeah, that sounds better. And then Chris is like, cool, I'll be around about 1. I've got some family stuff to do in the morning. And then the protagonist says, okay. And then Chris is like, do you still have a tent, by the way? We can camp in the garden or something. Oh, a slumber party. I love you too, bro. And then an X. And then Chris is all like, whatever, lol. You got the tent, though? Yeah, somewhere. Let me check. BRB. I got up from my bed and I had to check the cupboard under the stairs. I didn't know where the tent was, but it seemed a good place to start. a stroke of good luck as the tent came back into view. As the tent bag came into view. Yeah. I leaned over the other boxes and I picked up the bag and took the big garden umbrella that sat beside it too, just in case it rained tomorrow. I paused. I put the tent down. It took me a couple seconds to get back to the kitchen window and focus on the darkness outside. My eyes weren't adjusted to the dark, so I couldn't see all the way to the back fence. Turning off the kitchen light, I leaned on the counter and continued staring at the same point. The other garden features began to fade into view, one by one, fitting my previous mental image. I wasn't sure what I wanted to see. The darkness gave way to the familiar forms I knew, but after a while, I was certain there still stood a figure outside the back garden fence. It hadn't moved. I stood there for 15 minutes looking at it. I couldn't tell its shape properly, but it did look like someone standing there. I decided it wasn't a threat. I thought if I was in any real danger, I would have been a lot more worried by now. That thought kept me calm, but I also wanted to find out what it was. I couldn't stand there forever, so I jogged upstairs, picked up my laptop, and brought it down. With me to the counter. Okay, that is, what does that mean? I jogged upstairs, picked up my laptop, and brought it with me to the counter. I brought it down with me to the counter, okay. There's one too many words there, what the hell? Okay, never mind. And then, conversation between me and Chris. Hey, could you come around now? Oh, yeah, I think I can see something in my garden. What is it? An animal? No, it's tall. I thought it was an umbrella. And you're sure it isn't? I don't know. I thought it was someone, but now I'm sure it's not a person. It just looks weird, and I don't think it was there before. Before when? I don't know. Earlier today, maybe. I can't remember. Are you scared? I'd feel better if someone else was here. Well, I did offer to come around, and I am bored. So, yeah, I'll come soon. Cool, thanks. Use the front gate. Guys, I think Chris might get eaten. I think Chris might get eaten by the long man. Also, excuse me, I need a drink of water. Okay. Remember and hydrate, y'all. Yeah. Very, very important. Or you will wrinkle and shrivel, and like you will become a raisin of a person. You will become a raisin of a person. Yeah. Okay. I sat there watching the black shape lean against the fence for another 10 minutes. Eventually, the doorbell rang, and I opened it, and Chris ran in, and bear hugged me. It's been too long, Chris and Mock cried. Yeah, it must have been a whole day, I retorted, smiling. The torment, he replied, pretending to ignore me. Look, come over here, I said, pushing him off and walking to the kitchen. I switched off the light and pointed in the figure's direction. Look, give me a sec, said Chris. I can't see properly. A minute later he noticed. That black thing? Yeah. We both stood there looking at it for a while. I half expected it to be gone, on when he looked. He leaned over the counter. It's just a big plant or a plank of wood or something. Let's go watch TV. What? Will you check with me to make sure? I asked. Do you have a torch? No, I admitted. Well, we could check if we keep the kitchen light on and open the back door a little, he offered. I thought for a second and agreed, but said we should stay right by the house. We slipped on our trainers and opened the back door. Stepping out onto the patio, I felt as if the air was heavy and warm that night. Chris walked behind me. We stood very close to the door, peering at the back fence. Should we? I just started to speak again when he quickly stepped into the house again, still looking at the fence. What? I asked, following him in. I turned and realized that the figure was gone. It was obvious from the light coming from the back door that the fence and the rest of the garden was just as it always was. Where is it? Chris asked. If it was leaning against the fence, it probably fell into a bush or something. I tried to convince us both. We stared out for a few seconds longer and decided that we were too nervous to go and check. I don't usually give in to my night terrors, but now they were just beginning to click into my head. Excuse me. Can you stay over for the night? I asked Chris. Yeah, sure. It didn't sound like he really wanted to. He kept his eyes on the fence. We both went inside and locked the door before going up to my room. I got out a sleeping bag for Chris and drew the curtains without looking outside into the garden again. We talked about stupid stuff for a couple hours to take our minds off the garden, and then we fell asleep. Okay. Did they get eaten in their sleep? I wonder. Let's see. In the morning, I found Chris's sleeping bag empty. Oh my god. I called out to Chris, and he said he was downstairs. Okay. So I threw on a t-shirt and went down. Sleep well? I asked. Yeah, pretty well, but I kept thinking about the garden and stuff. Hey, did you find that tent? He returned. Yeah, I answered, remembering that shape which I had forgotten about until now. Well, I was thinking about the camping trip and thought maybe we could bring the tent into my house. It would just make a change, you know? I didn't have to ask him why. I wasn't too keen on staying in my garden after last night. Well, wait, last night. Come to think of it, the sun was up and I wanted to check the garden while it wasn't pitch black. I asked Chris, and he hesitantly agreed. They're never there during the day. I suspect they're going to find, like, really skinny footprints or something. I don't know. Or, like, a pile of, like, black ectoplasm. Somewhat blacktoplasm. Ectoplasm. That's a good trigger word, actually. I'll keep that in mind. Okay. We put on our trainers and stepped out into the garden. I don't know what we were so worried about. It was bright and colorful. Okay. Now I know this creepypasta is British. Because I thought it was when they were saying like trainers instead of sneakers. But they spelled colorful with a U. Okay. The plants and bushes around the edge of the garden smelled good, and there was a bird in one of the small trees singing out for its mate somewhere. That is crazy. There was a bird. Do you guys hear that? Do you guys hear the birds outside my window that like just started singing? That is crazy. Okay. And there was a bird in a small tree singing out for its mate somewhere. We walked to the back fence to find nothing out of place, and looked over the bushes in front of the paneling to check if anything lay beyond them. We found nothing. I walked around the edge of the whole garden once more while Chris tried whistling to the bird. It cocked his head from side to side, trying to figure him out. Okay. It was a warm day. Perfect for camping that evening, I decided. We talked as we filled a couple of rucksacks with sleeping bags and some food from the kitchen. We didn't want to set up a fire, so we packed some tinned hot dogs, bread, a packet of tomatoes, and chocolate, as well as some bottles of water. There's a forest just next to my house, which is actually pretty good, Chris explained. Our garden backs into the edge of it. I stayed in a tent there once with my dad for my first little camping trip when I was like 7. I remember I was so excited at the time. I thought we were really roughing it like some hardcore mountaineers. Chris laughed at himself. If we get too cold or need more food, we can just go to my house. My parents are out, so we'll have free run of the place anyway. Yours are away too? I questioned. Their anniversary, so they're out for the night, he explained. They're staying in a hotel in the next town over. They'll be back in the morning. Apparently leaving your kids behind was in fashion this summer. Yeah. Okay. At about noon, we left my house with the 2 rucksacks. A sleeping bag for each of us, and the tent, and made our way to Chris's house. It was fairly close by and a part of the same pleasant neighborhood. We talked and joked a lot, sorry, I'm losing it. We talked and joked a lot, walking side by side, nodding and greeting a couple of familiar neighbors as we went. It was a crazy nice day. The sun was almost too much. It was hot on our necks, and the trees by the sidewalk seemed to glow green from underneath as the sunlight passed through the leaves. A sprinkler offered us some water as we walked by one house, and it felt good in my hot arms. I was already sweating by the time we got to Chris's place. We hadn't been walking for more than 20 minutes. Gosh, I know some days like that. I cannot deal with days like that. It's just way too hot. Okay. We didn't go inside the house immediately because it was so hot, so we went straight to his garden and dumped our bags in the shade. He wasn't joking. The gate of his garden really did back onto some impressive forest. Very tall, thin trees stood high above the house and continued as far as the eye could see. Some bushes and shrubs littered the forest floor, but most of it was either grass or fairly smooth sections of dirt. I didn't see how this forest was classed as small. Looks good, right? He boasted. It's awesome, I admitted, opening the gate and surveying the area. I walked out in between the trees and found a flat spot for the tent. I turned around to ask Chris's opinion, and paused, a little disappointed. It didn't feel like real camping when his house was so obviously in our faces. Let's go a little further in so it feels at least legit, I said, and walked back to pick up my bags. Chris objected to carrying his heavy shit any further. We walked in a straight line from Chris's house, and kept checking behind us until the house was just about obscured by the trees in front of each other. We'd only gone a very short way in, but The forest was already thicker and greener. There was even a long rope swing hanging from one of the trees, but it looked way too old to hold our weight, so we decided to keep our spines unbroken and give it a miss. I unpacked the tent and set it up with Chris's help, and then we threw our sleeping bags inside. I lay down to test it out. It was so warm and humid, and I had to adjust my breathing for a second. I stepped out again and asked Chris if he had a torch for the evening. "I can do better than that," was his response, and he took off towards the house. I was too hot to run after him, so I opened my rucksack and cracked open a bottle of water, downing half of it and putting the rest back in the pack. I lay down on a patch of grass and looked up at the canopy. The leaves were shifting gently in the breeze I couldn't feel from down here, and I watched them sway and mesh together until I heard Chris return. "Did you get a torch?" I asked, closing my eyes. The sun shone through my eyelids and colored my vision red. I listened to the soft sound of his footsteps on the grass as he walked past me towards the rope swing. "That's not gonna hold you." "Oh, sorry." "That's not gonna hold you," I warned, as I heard him tug the branch with a small creak. He tugged it, and it creaked in response. I listened. He tugged it once more, and again. There was a moment of silence, as I guessed he was still weighing it up, and then another tug. He continued to tug a few more times, and the creaking followed, each one. I was sure it wasn't all his weight, and I smiled, predicting one big creak and a snap as the rope or branch broke. I waited as some final tugs were made. Creak, creak, creak. I waited still. Creak, creak, creak. Okay. The text is a little small. Let me just zoom in. Let me hold my book closer to my face. "Yo!" I heard Chris's voice coming from his garden. I sat bolt upright, almost spraining my neck as I snapped my head sideways to face the house. He was jogging through the trees, holding an electric lantern. I switched my gaze in the other direction towards the rope swing. It was hanging still. Nothing nearby. I stood up and turned full circle. Nothing in any other direction. "What?" I mouthed to myself, walking towards the rope. I tugged it gently. It didn't creak. I pulled harder. It didn't creak. My mouth went dry. I jumped up, grabbed hold, and yanked it down. The branch bent a little as my feet touched the floor, and still it didn't make a sound. I kept hold of it as I stared up towards the branches, but eventually the rope gave way under my weight, somewhere in the middle, and a soft thud fell on my ears as the thick rope fell in front of me. Chris was rattling the lantern as he came by. "I've never used this before. I got it for Christmas for my cousin. She buys some weird presents. I see the swing is dead. Let's have a proper burial in memory of all the joy it gave us." I didn't respond. I continued looking up the branch with half a rope swing tied to it. "Hey, are you good?" I thought you'd already came back," I said immediately. I wasn't the type to let things slide with "Oh, it's nothing." That's rare. That is very rare for a horror character. Yeah. "What?" he replied. Some messing around with a rope swing. Who was it? I don't know. Are they still around? I don't know. I had my eyes closed and was just laying there. I pointed. But then I heard you shout, so I looked around and there was nothing there. Then I heard them walk by my head. I felt a bit sick. Look, hey, come down for a second, Chris began. It's the middle of the day. We're 30 feet from my house. And even if it was a person, so what? It's just some public woods. Anyone can come through here. That made some sense, and he was right about it being public, but where were they? I glanced around one more time, however, the trees quickly layered up, and I couldn't see far at all. I guessed it was possible for me to lose track of someone here in a short distance. Okay, I said. Man, I can just stay alone in the house for weeks on end, but I can't handle a short walk through the woods on a summer day. That's why you brought some muscle, declared Chris, wielding the lantern above his head, and I laughed. Oops, sorry about that. We spent the day walking around the forest and returned to the tent to get some water when we were too hot. We talked about school and about what our plans were for the future. We talked about dreams we'd had and ghosts and creatures that lurked in the dark. Neither of us were too scared of things like that, but they made for good camping stories. Oh my god, my stomach. Can you be quiet? Chris told a particularly good one of a woman who lived in the woods. She had the head of a cat, and if you heard her raspy meow, meow, that meant she was trying to find you. If she stopped meowing, it signified that you were found, and she was quickly making her way towards you. It made my skin crawl a little, and we stopped telling stories soon after that. The light of day eventually faded, and it was getting hard to see. So we headed back to the tent for the night. The impressive heat during the day had killed our appetites, so we left the food for now and decided we'd eat it in the night if we got hungry. Chris hung the electric lantern at the front of the tent, flicking it on as he did so. It was surprisingly bright and spilled a yellow light out onto the ground and onto the trees that faced us. The warm glow looked dramatic, but whatever was beyond the light was hidden in blackness. Our immediate area was clear, but after a few paces the light seemed to stop dead. It looked weird. Chris ducked under the tent opening, and I followed him. The sleeping bags looked inviting, as the heat from earlier had gone, and it was too cold for shirts and shorts. We got inside and took the lantern with us. Can you hear meowing? I said. My head tilted as I strained to hear. Yeah, and I can hear some bullshit too. Chris smiled and zipped up his sleeping bag. Damn, I thought I'd had him. Oh well. I zipped up my own bag, and we lay there talking for a little while. And then the exhaustion of such a hot summer hit us, and we fell asleep. That wasn't my fault. There is a typo. There is a typo. There is a typo in this very printed physical book that I am reading. Okay, wait, let me just check something real quick. Okay, alright, wonderful. I had a dream that we were walking to Chris's house again, but there were many more trees than before, rope swing hung in front of me. I turned around, and Chris was gone. I heard a creak behind me, and a feeling came over me like I'd missed a step on the stairs. For some reason, I couldn't turn around. I started walking straight ahead, and the rope swing soon came into my view again, and I was aware that I was in a nightmare. The rope swing slowly lifted itself up into the trees, and I watched it disappear. I walked over, and soon stood beneath where it had been. And right there was a rustle above me. As I lifted my eyes to the canopy, a black figure with the head of a cat came hurtling downwards with its mouth opened horrifically wide. One of its teeth touched my left eye, and I tore myself awake, gasping as I sat up in the tent. My back was damp with sweat, and Chris was asleep next to me. The lantern was still on, and I could see our backpacks at the end of the tent. I took a moment to breathe, and then let myself lay back down, my head thumping on the floor a little too hard. Ouch. I winced and reached for the bottle of water to my side, downing a few mouthfuls. I couldn't fall asleep with the glow of the lantern on my eyelids, so I sat up and searched the tent for it. I quickly realized the light was coming from outside. What the hell? What the helly? Chris? I said, still confused from sleep. He mumbled something in reply. Chris, where's the lantern? It's somewhere. Somewhere, he said slowly and sleepily, before turning over. Looking around again, the light was obviously coming from outside. I weighed up the options. Either some murderer had snuck into our tent and had done nothing but take the lantern outside, or we actually hadn't brought it into the tent and I remembered wrongly. That sounded more convincing, so I knelt by the tent and tore and unzipped it. From the opening I looked around. It wasn't immediately obvious where the glow was coming from. Why couldn't I see it? I looked up. The lantern was resting 20 feet in the air, hanging in the dark. Goosebumps swept across my skin, and I zipped up the door before shaking Chris awake. Oh my gosh. Chris, please, wake up! He heard the urgency in my voice and sat up. What's wrong? Chris said, rubbing his eyes. The lantern is hanging outside. But I brought it inside, he assured me. I felt sick as my reasoning broke. We both looked at the front of the tent. We should go back to the house, I said, my resolve buckling. I was just a kid in a forest whose parents were away. I'm not walking through the dark, he replied. Chris was now looking worried. We've got a lantern. I stopped myself. We looked at the front of the tent again. We couldn't sit there forever. We were getting scared as we sat doing nothing. So this was the plan. We weren't going back to sleep. We would get the lantern back somehow, leave everything here, and spend the night in Chris's house. How the hell are they gonna get the lantern back? That is a pretty scary predicament, to be completely fair. That is pretty bad. I don't know. I feel like I would just risk the sprint. I feel like I would just sprint. I couldn't stay there. I'm sorry. I am going to die in the forest. I'm gonna be the first one to die, for sure. For sure. Okay. I hated being the one to go first. I wanted to turn back, even just crouching by the tent entrance. Unzipping the fabric door, I looked around. Nothing. was cold. Chris said the same thing as he stood right by my side looking over his shoulder. He turned back and saw the lantern in the air. Oh my God. We stood there looking at it for a few seconds that seemed to crawl by. Eventually I worked out which tree it was hanging from. The broken rope swing at my feet confirmed it. Oh my gosh. Way up and out of reach, the lantern hung above our heads, tied to the other end of the rope that still dangled from the darkness. I couldn't work it out. It was high up, too high up for even a ladder. The trees were thin and bare beside the leaves that made up the canopy. There was nowhere to climb. Picking up the length of rope that had snapped off earlier, I bundled it up and tied a knot, and aimed it at the lantern. Oh, that's smart. I took a step back and jumped, tossing it into the air. It caught the lantern on its side and sent it swinging. It threw shadows rocking around us, and I suddenly wished it hadn't hit it. The light made the shadows lean from side to side with the lantern. The horrible, unnatural swaying made me panic, and my eyes became wet as fear took a solid hold of me. I picked up the rope again, and lobbed it desperately at the lantern. I missed, and the bundle of rope sailed off into the darkness. Helplessly, I turned to Chris, who had already grabbed his backpack. He spun around and threw it with a yelp, and it hit the lantern dead on. It fell and thudded to the floor with a crack. But the light was still on. I ran to pick it up. I turned to Chris and almost cried with relief. Okay, go, let's go, I urged, and he started jogging quickly towards his house as I followed. We half ran, half stumbled off into the dark, checking over our shoulders and working ourselves up as our thoughts were consumed by everything that may be waiting for us in the trees. I don't know how long we were moving, but it soon became apparent that Chris's house wasn't in this direction. For God's sake, where is it? Oh, sorry, that was Chris. For God's sake, where is it? Chris said, tension taking hold of his voice. We'll have to find the tent and try again. A couple of tears were forming at the corners of his eyes. They were probably on mine too, but my heart was thumping so loud that I didn't notice. Okay. I took a breath and we turned around, heading in a straight line directly behind us. What if we didn't find the tent? I couldn't stop myself from thinking that over and over and over as we retraced our steps. We walked for what seemed like twice as long before the light finally fell on the side of the tent. We ran up and stood close to its side, looking around to try and find out which direction we should go. The silence was like the build-up of a nightmare, right before some horrible thing lurches out at you, screaming. The comparison made me gag, and I scrunched my eyes shut, the hair on my skin lifting. My temples were so hot it felt like my brain was thudding against the inside of my skull. I couldn't begin to guess where the house was. We could see about 10 feet from the lantern, and then pitch black. There were no clues. Every direction looked wrong. Chris took the lantern from me and walked in a small circle, straining his eyes to try and see. I stayed put. Chris, turn it off, I whispered to him hurriedly. What? I stepped quickly and quietly towards him, bringing my face to his. There's something in the tent. Oh my gosh. Also, what the hell is rattling on my desk? I can hear that. Okay. There we go. That should fix it. That's gaze shifted past me towards the tent, and he stood there staring. We are both standing on the left-hand side of the tent, and from this angle, I could just about see the unzipped door hanging open, but I remembered leaving it that way. So that wasn't what was making me clench my teeth together. A few feet from me, my rucksack sat outside on the dry earth, with the food I had packed now neatly arranged, trailing from it. Our sleeping bags were also nicely laid out, end to end, making the line of belongings lead straight into the mouth of the tent. I took a careful step forward, so the light could pass more easily through the fabric. It couldn't have been a trick of the light. Something big and dark was obviously crouched, with what I guessed was its front, facing the open door. I hated myself for not seeing this sooner. It didn't move at all, or seem to breathe. It just sat, waiting for us to investigate the display it had made. "Turn it off," I whispered again. Chris continued staring, deaf to me. "Chris," I pleaded in a whisper. A voice from nearby joined in. "Chris." We both heard it, and the blood fell in our veins. It came from the tent. A slow, strained rasp of a voice that sounded like a parrot copying a new word. The sound clicked across my skin and crept into my ears. The light flicked on and off with a click. No, the light flicked off with a click that was too loud. Chris grabbed my shoulder, and I clenched my fists closed, perfectly tight. We stood there in complete darkness. I didn't want to move, and I didn't want to stay. My brain fought for control as my legs waited for decision, rooted in place. We breathed shallow, quiet breaths, blackness pressing in on our eyes like water. Sweat ran down my neck. I couldn't see the tent. "Chris," something said. "Turn it off." My stomach flipped out as the thing in the tent played with my words. I quickly grabbed Chris's hand, yanking him in the opposite direction. I ran like I'd never ran before, and Chris's legs thudding alternately with mine. The sprint continued for about a minute. We lost ourselves as we ran through absolute darkness. I forgot where we were, and I couldn't see what was in front of my face. I ran head-on into a tree, and my forehead struck its side with a sickening, hollow knock. Sparks lit up inside my eyes as I choked back the pain. It hurt so much I couldn't breathe. Chris tried to pull me on, but I buckled to the floor on my knees and threw up. As I collapsed onto my back, my head went numb, and Chris lifted me up. "Oh dear, he's got a concussion, he's got a concussion." Concussion triggers. Concussion. Okay. "Please, don't stop, please, he begged. I couldn't reply. "Please, man, please keep going." I forced my legs to take my weight as I locked my knees upright, leaning on Chris. My body felt empty, and a little blood rolled down my forehead and into my brow. I wiped it away as I tried to grasp the situation again, but the pain was just too much. "Wait, I can't," I begged. Just wait. We stood together in the inky woods, but we could have been anywhere. I couldn't see Chris as he huddled next to me. It didn't feel like darkness. It felt like someone had wrapped my head in a blanket. Neither of us said a word as we waited, but our was loud, and I wondered from what distance could it be heard. Reality began to return to me, and the pain was now just about bearable. I straightened up, grasping at what was happening. The pins of fear sank into me a second time, and I started counting in my head. 1 minute passed without any sound in the world. The wind was dead, and the birds might be too. Another minute went by, and I continued counting. 3 minutes. We were still alone. Was it even looking for us? I reached out for Chris's arm in the dark, and he jumped when I touched it, but I steadied him with the other. He was still holding onto the lantern. Good. We had the light on our side. Now if only we could use it. I went over the events hurriedly in my mind. The lantern was hanging from a tree. We got out of the tent, then we couldn't find our way home. By the time we returned to the tent, something was in it. But then why did it take the lantern and do nothing while we slept? If it was sheer luck that we were alone when we were trying to get the lantern, I wondered just how small the possibility was of us getting a second chance. I stayed silent for a moment, and then whispered as best as I could. Chris, we need to turn on the lantern. We need to fucking get the way out. Wait. We need to fucking get away from here. We can make a run for your house, but we need to see. No, please, we have to stay here. Chris tried to whisper too. We can wait for morning if we have to. You can't turn it on. I could hear in his voice that a sob was breaking through. Just keep quiet. You fucking have to, please. I parted my lips to try again, but as I did, I heard something. A very faint, clicking sound from somewhere in the dark. It was almost inaudible, but it was there. An irregular, stuttering, clicking sound. It sounded like fingernails on a wooden table, and it was moving. It came from in front of us. I was sure of it. A steady click, clack, click filled my ears as we tried to gauge the distance. It was drawing closer. Click, click, clack. It stopped. I was glad for the first time in my life that I couldn't see what was waiting in the dark. Perhaps that meant we were all so hidden. As my thoughts fired off in every direction, I gave the thing in the darkness the image of a cat-headed woman, and it terrified me. I was just waiting to hear that meow, but my ears were met with something else. Chris. I tensed my throat and tried not to cry. Chris. It said his name twice, and I cupped my hand over my mouth. The horrible, scraping dialogue sounded a few steps away. The words were said oddly, with no meaning behind them. They were just sounds that this thing had picked up, and now it was using them to catch us out in the dark. Chris let go of my hand, and I heard his foot plant softly on the grass behind him as he prepared to run. Don't you dare. Oh wait, no, sorry. That's the other guy. Don't you dare. I tried to project into his mind. Don't you dare make a sound. Chris, please. It sounded so wrong, drawn out like a door slowly opening. Chris let out a whimper as it called him. I froze and waited for something, anything, to happen. There was a long silence, and I held my breath for for as long as I could. I couldn't wait anymore. Very slowly, I reached out to Chris and put my hand on his shoulder, and very carefully we both lifted our feet and managed to step out without making a sound. We backstepped away from the voice and didn't stop moving, but ever so carefully, so slowly. I didn't care how long it would take us to get somewhere. If it took us an hour every step, we were going to get out. Chris backed into a tree and gasped audibly. The clicking sound started up immediately. It rolled on, consistently moving towards us. I didn't know what to do. All I could think of was to try and screw my eyes shut and try not to scream. As we stood there, the clicking came to a stop, an arm's length away from where we stood. Silence. And then, Chris, turn it on, please. Fear took over. Chris switched on the light and tore off in the other direction without looking behind him. I wheeled in place for a second and held that lantern in my sight like nothing else existed. We didn't dare look at the thing, but we could hear it. Our footsteps thudded on the grass, and the thing pursued us with a tap 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 tap. Now like scurrying little claws on hard earth. As I ran desperately to catch up to the light, the sound suddenly rose up behind me and over our heads in between the trees. This wasn't happening. It was going to drop down on us. Turn! Sorry about that. Turn, I screamed. It didn't care anymore. If we were going to get out with our lives, we were going to have to run from them. Run for them. We suddenly changed our course. The tapping stopped for a moment, long enough for us to gain a few feet before it came in our direction again. My legs were cramping horribly and Chris was gasping hard. We could hear it. We couldn't keep this up. Where were we? I saw the light from the lantern come to an abrupt halt up ahead. Oh my gosh, I'm losing it. Sorry. I'm starting to, mispronounce things. Where were we? I saw the light from the lantern come to an abrupt halt up ahead. I didn't have time to stop and braced myself to thump into Chris, but the light passed beneath my feet. He had dropped the lantern. I turned my head and watched it recede into the darkness. It was immediately too far for me to go back. The thing would be on me in a second. Chris! I was crying and swiping tears from my cheeks as I ran, preparing for my face to connect with a tree at any moment. Keep going. I heard Chris from up ahead. There's a light. My vision was bleary from tears, but I could see it. An orange glow hanging in the air in the distance. Another one. What was happening? I wanted to scream at him to avoid it, but I realized it was a street light. My legs felt like I was running through water, but I pushed them harder with a goal in sight. This feels like they're being lured in by an anglerfish, so I'm a little suspicious. I'm a little bit suspicious of this. This light is a little bit suspicious, if you ask me. My legs felt like I was running through water, but I pushed them harder with a goal in sight. Gradually and painfully, the light drew closer, as did the clicking. This time, this thing could move like nothing I knew. I saw Chris's figure pass underneath the streetlight, and then it was gone. Don't stop, I yelled as I approached the edge of the forest, and my legs adjusted as the forest floor gave way to solid footing. I could see a row of more streetlights leading off to the right, and Chris's figure was passing regularly underneath each. When I was sure I was completely out of trees, I didn't stop. I ran under several more streetlights, putting as much distance as I could between us and the edge of the woods. I realized after a while that the clicking sound had stopped. I needed to see that we were okay. I turned my head and looked back along the row of lights, keeping my gaze on the first light. My pace slowed as the pain in my head and legs came back. There was silence once more, and the lights revealed an empty pathway. I jogged on and kept my eyes on the glow, expecting to see something at any moment. But it lit up nothing but concrete and the edge of the road. Is it there? The question pulsed in my mind over and over. As I turned my head to continue catching up to Chris, I caught sight of something pass under the first streetlight. An almighty shock went through me as my fears were confirmed. I let out a cry and picked up the pace once more, sprinting between the lights. The image was burned into my mind. I hardly got a glimpse of the thing, but it was white and massive. It almost brushed the streetlight as it went under it. It had a long, upright body full of kinks, like it had just unfolded itself. And that's all I was able to tell. It must have had a face and limbs, but I didn't have time to see. I didn't look again, and the path gave way to more lights, and soon I could see the glow of windows in some houses either side of the road. I recognized where we were, close to my house by some miracle. A little further and we would be there. "My house!" I yelled, and Chris listened, turning left onto a side street and dashing down. With panic on my side, I reached the turning and looked down the road to see Chris jumping the fence into my garden. "Hurry up!" I heard him scream. Reaching over the fence, I planted my hands on top, hoisted myself over, and shredding my elbows in the process. My ankles stung as I thudded into the garden and sprinted towards the kitchen door. Chris stepped aside, gasping for air as I fumbled the key to the lock and wrenched it sideways. We both flew into the kitchen and slammed the door behind us. I locked it from the inside, and we both sprinted upstairs into the bathroom, locking it behind us. What was that? Why did that sound zesty? What was that? What was that? I managed to say in a panicked whisper, wondering if it would get in. Did you see it? No. Chris crouched under the window, letting tears roll. Shit, it was so tall, I couldn't... Don't tell me. Chris cut me off. I mulled it over again and again as we sat there. Minutes slowly ticked by into hours. My head was fizzing all the while, and I could still hear its voice. That disgusting voice. My elbows and forearms were sticky with blood, and we both looked at the floor, the occasional sob coming from the two of us. Our hearts banged in our chests, and we spent the night that way. Light streamed in from the window, but we didn't unlock the bathroom door until noon. We crept downstairs. The kitchen door was still locked, and nothing was in the house. I looked out of the living room window. Another perfect day. No people walked by, but the sprinklers were on, and I could hear the birds again. It helped to calm our nerves. "That tent can stay there," I said at last. "Yeah," Chris agreed. We stayed in the living room with the TV on. We stayed in the living room with the TV off all day. We didn't know what to do and talked about if we should call the police or something. The day crawled by as we tried to rake our thoughts together and think of what to do next. But all that went through my mind was what had just happened, not what we should be doing. By the time it was dark around 9 p.m., the phone rang. It was Chris's parents asking if I had seen him, as they were getting worried. They had just gotten back from out of town. I let them know he was okay and asked if they could come and pick us both up from my house because something had happened. They wanted to know what, but I said we'd both tell them if they get here. They said they'd be here soon. Relief washed over us as adults were on the way to make everything all right again. They would believe us. We didn't lie about these things. Even if they were skeptical, they'd at least believe that some dangerous animal was in the forest, and that was good enough for us. I went into the kitchen to get some juice from the fridge and realized I hadn't had a drink all day. Relatable. I could hear water dripping in the sink, so I turned the faucet tighter and glugged some juice. I headed towards the living room. The water started to tap again. I flicked the light on and realized it wasn't coming from the sink or anywhere in the room that matters. I read that wrong. I flicked the light on and realized it wasn't coming from the sink or anywhere in the room for that matter. It sounded like it was coming from further away. I looked out into the garden and could just about see a fuzzy, tall silhouette leaning up against the back fence in the dark. Actually, the tapping sounded more like clicking. The figure slowly moved away from the fence and clicked across the grass towards the house. And that is the end of Turn It Off by Polum Chill. The credit here is Polum Chill, Polumchill. That is who wrote it. Well, I honestly quite enjoyed that. That took a lot longer. That took a lot longer than 26 minutes, which is what it was listed as. I guess it's 26 minutes maybe if you read it in your head and not out loud. I don't know. But yeah, I think we will read one more and then I have to go. Let's see. What else can we read? Oh, sorry, that's my gun. Shoot. Okay. Let's read this absolutely. Okay, wait. 5.5 out of 10 on creepypasta.com. Is that like a comically bad one? Actually, I mean, I don't want to judge. By like a bad one, I mean like in a good way. You know what I mean? Anyway, alright. I don't want to say things are bad. Because that is, someone put like a lot of effort into that. Let's see. Christmas Horror Archives. Creepypasta.com. Creepypasta.com Horror Archives. Christmas is 363 days away. Hi Saru, how are you doing? I've been going for a little bit. I'm probably going to end soon. But hello. I hope you had a good Christmas. Did you have a good Christmas? I just read a creepypasta called Turn It Off, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah. Xmas was full of things occurring. Okay. A pretty chaotic one then. Yeah. Oh well. Hopefully you are able to relax now and enjoy the rest of the year. I meant to watch a previous stream, but I woke up at like 2 p.m. that day. Okay, like 3 hours in. That's okay, don't worry, it's okay. It's okay. I don't mind. You don't have to explain yourself, it's okay. Let's see, what's this? Okay. This one is called The Mysterious Christmas Tape. This is the first one I clicked on in creepypasta.com, and it says it's 20 minutes of reading. Let me see. I'm curious about what is this Christmas tape. I am curious as to what this Christmas tape might be. This is like Creepcast, but if there's only one of them, then you have to record it quietly in their closet. That is so true. And the quality is way worse. Okay. Let's see here. I'm totally reading this from a book and not just off my laptop. Yeah. Let me open my book. Yeah, this book, this novel that I have here is called The Mysterious Christmas Tape, written by Brittany B. Estimated reading time, 14 minutes. Okay, wonderful, because I have to go soon. Family are waking up in half an hour. And they will be making a noise, so... Alright, let's begin, shall we? But yeah, wait, Saru, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I love that drawing you made. Of like Chris and Des, and then Chris and Des. Yeah. That was very cool. I love it. Thank you for that. I will print it off and put it on my IRL fridge. Okay. Page 1. You remember those home videos from back in the day? You know, when everything special, when every special moment of your life was recorded on a video camera before smartphones existed. Well, I certainly remember them. My mom used to own a video camera, and she recorded some videos when me and my sister were very young. One of them was when we were going to the zoo. I was a toddler at the time, and slept for the majority of the visit. My mom, dad, and sister were seeing all the animals while my mom was recording our special moment together. These memories are made to last forever, but there was one tape that I saw that led me to an inconvenient truth. We need a mutual friend named Ross, say no. Oh gosh. Yeah, we need a fluffy boy in our gang. Yeah. I don't know who could be our Ross. I'm sure we'll find one. I'm sure we will packaging, and my grandmother was preparing for them. My sister came over to take my grandma shopping to buy food for our traditional holiday meals, along with dessert and some other things that we needed for the apartment, like cleaning supplies and other essentials. Before they left, my grandma took my sister to go into the closet in her bedroom and get something. So my sister went into my grandma's bedroom, straight to the closet, and got whatever she wanted. I suddenly heard my sister struggling, as it was something pretty heavy that she had. I then started to hear a dragging coming from whatever it was. She then came out of the room, dragging a big box with her foot into the living room. The box was labeled Holiday Movies in a red-colored Sharpie, and it was sealed with a packaging tape. My grandma then peeled the tape off and gave the used tape to my sister to discard. She then opened the box, and there were a bunch of VHS tapes inside. It was a mix of store-bought tapes and ones that were taped on the TV. Then my grandma told me to go to the box and pick out some movies to watch while she and my sister were going out. I nodded in compliance with the task. Okay. My grandma told me that she'd be back in a little while, and then I hugged them goodbye. They put their masks on, got their stuff, and headed out the door. Masks. 2019 COVID. They were ahead of their time, my gosh. I then started to go through the box of tapes to see what movies I wanted to watch. There were more taped ones than I thought there were, and mostly from the 90s. As I got down to the bottom of the box, there was one tape that didn't have a cover box on it. I gently pulled it out of the box and looked at the label. It said, Christmas Party 2015, and was written in black Sharpie. A black one. They predicted COVID, which is the real horror. Yeah. Oh my gosh. They did. They manifested it. They didn't predict it, they manifested it. Through this piece of literature. Yeah. I was confused at that point because I didn't remember going to a Christmas party with my friends or family back then, but I decided that it was something that I really needed to see because it was a home video that had special moments inside of it. Special moments. I turned on the TV and changed the input to the VCR input. I then started up the VCR and inserted the tape into it. If this has any mention of photorealistic blood, or photorealistic eyes, or like, you know the drill. The video started. It was me at my dad's house, and it didn't have the time and date shown like the usual home videos. To top it all off, I wasn't at home. It wasn't of home quality either. It had the quality of a modern-day TV show. And it wasn't from the point of view of me holding a camera. It was more like an episode that was filmed. It was around late afternoon, and the sun was still out. I was standing in the living room at the front door, probably waiting for someone to pick me up and bring me to this so-called party. I was wearing my usual winter attire, but no hat or scarf because I don't like wearing them. There was some snow on the ground, but I decided to wear my Periwinkle Converse knockoff shoes instead of boots. Oh my gosh. They're going to slip on the ice and knock their head and get a concussion. That is foreshadowing. Things are going to get pretty spooky. They had to specify the shoes. Yeah. It's very important. Trust me, it'll come back later. It'll be a very big plot point. Yeah. SUV. And it also seemed there were 2 other people in it as well. I looked out to the door and locked the inside door behind me. When I got out to the van, the person sitting there opened the sliding door for me. Beyond my belief, it was Billy Bevel from the 1998 CGI children's cartoon Roly Poly Oly, and his friend Ollie Poly and his little brother Binky were also there. I've never seen this cartoon. I've never seen this cartoon in my life. Does this cartoon actually exist? I've heard of it. I've just never seen it. Oh my god. It's getting so scary that I had to turn my lights on. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry. Roly Poly Oly and his friend Ollie Poly and his little brother Binky cannot hurt you. They cannot hurt you. They cannot hurt you. They are just cartoons. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. They were in the same CGI animated form as in the show and were wearing full winter attire despite being robots. Furthermore, Ollie's sister Zoe wasn't there either. I was completely stunned by this. Completely flabbergasted. They greeted me as I got into the van and were very excited to see me. Billy then told me that I was the best babysitter he, Ollie, and Binky ever had. Babysitter, I thought. I sat in the back with Binky. Billy and Ollie were sitting in the individual seats in the middle. The driver turned around and asked me and everyone else if we were all set. It was a male driver. He was big, mildly obese man. Had no facial hair, but had a short black and grey thick hair. He looked a bit like Rodney Dangerfield mixed with Jonathan Goldstein from Drake and Josh, and seemed like he was in his late 40s or early 50s. Sorry. The constant references are killing me. It's a product of his time. It insists upon itself. No, okay. He also looked a bit creepy, but seemed like a nice guy. Furthermore, he wasn't wearing any winter clothes. He was dressed as if it were springtime, and the style looked 80s or 90s. Yep, we're all set, Billy and Ollie said as I nodded, and Binky responded in his usual cute baby talk in unison. Okay, and off we go. The man said as he shifted in gear. Oh wait, that was the man. Whatever. The man said as he shifted the gear to drive and began to drive off. As he was driving, I asked him what his name was. Oddly, he whispered something that I couldn't quite make out, and neither did Billy, Ollie, or Binky, which confused us, but we let it go. You guys want to hear some Christmas music? He asked us. Yeah! Me, Billy, and Ollie cheered as Binky used baby talk once more. Alright, let's get some Christmas music on, the guy said, as he then turned on the radio and the music began to play. It was Christmas time is here, / Have Yourself a Merry Christmas by the band New Song, and we all started singing along to it. The trip was about 30 to 45 minutes long. We kept singing along to the other Christmas songs that played on the radio the whole trip until we finally reached our destination. The driver pulled us up in the driveway at a strange house. It was a nice house, but by the looks of it, it was pretty much abandoned, as the windows were boarded up. Also, it seemed that the house had a fire at some point as well. It was a bit awkward to have a party in a place like that. The 4 of us started to get chills, but we stayed strong. They stayed strong. We all got out of the vehicle and walked to the front of the house and up the steps. The man took out a key, inserted it into the lock, and opened the door. As we went faith. I have complete faith that they will. I'm sure there's all a purpose for it. The entrance led straight into the living room, and had a small amount of Christmas decorations. No one else was here either, so we thought that it was just a small get-together Christmas party. It was very warm inside, and we started to sweat a little. Then we started smelling something that was delectable and cheesy. So we went over to the side of the living room, and a black folding table was sitting there. On the table, it had a pizza box, red paper plates, and napkins on it. I opened the box, and a round party-sized pizza with half a pepperoni pizza and half plain cheese was sitting there, and was hot and fresh out of the oven. We were admiring how good the pizza looked, and we were starving too. So we took off our mittens, coats, scarves, and winter hats, and kept our boots and shoes on. Ollie and Pinky were very festive underneath their winter attire. Ollie was wearing a red, fuzzy, ugly Christmas sweater with a big white polka boots. No, wait. With big white polka dots, short green stripes on the neck and sleeves, and had a cute reindeer on it. He also had green, round-shaped boots with ridges on the soles of the boots. Pinky was also wearing a red Christmas sweater, but it was a fuzzy yarn-ribbed fold turtleneck sweater with red, white, and green pom-poms on it, and had a cute smiling snowman with a black top hat on his head, and stick arms were up in the air. He looked very adorable in it. Billy and I didn't really dress that festively, but Billy did wear a fuzzy, yarn-ribbed fold turtleneck sweater. It was a light, moderate blue color, and he was also wearing pale blue jeans with a brown belt and square-shaped boots that also had ridges on the sides of the boots. He also kept his winter hat on, which was a Matisse ribbed cuff short beanie cap, which was just a shade of blue and had no pom-poms on the top. I just wore regular clothes, which were a medium light blue v-neck, tie front long sleeve, cover up the shirt with frill at end of the sleeves, and a black polyester flare pants. I need a drink of water. Excuse me. The Matisse ribbed cuff short beanie cap is important, yeah. That is, it's details like that that just, make it all worth it. We then grabbed our own plates. Oh wait, sorry. We then grabbed our own plates and took what we wanted. I only took cheese because I didn't like pepperoni. The guy then brought out red plastic cups and drinks. There was a soda and fruit punch in the big bottles, and he poured one of each into a cup. I hated soda because of the carbonation on it, but at least there was an alternative if someone didn't like it. After he did that, he went into the kitchen to get some things and brought out the radio with the CD player built into it and some Christmas music CDs. He placed it on the table, plugged it in, and turned it on. There was loud static coming from it. The static sounded a bit eerie, as it had a slightly scary sound to it. Kind of like a banshee or an evil entity. The guy switched the input to the CD input, and it went completely silent. The man then gave us a choice of which CD we wanted to listen to first. We chose a CD with all the classic Christmas songs sung by different famous people, like Burl Ives. He put the disc in the player and pressed play, and then the music eventually began to play. The song Jingle Bell Rock was playing, and we started dancing and singing to it. The boys were having too much fun dancing, but they were holding their drinks in their hands. accidentally bumped into Billy, which caused him to lose hold of his cup, and the drink spilled all over the rug. The man looked over to see what had happened and saw the spilled drink on the floor. He then started to get extremely angry, and his face was very red. We all trembled in fear at the sight of him. "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" he yelled in a loud, distorted-like voice. His teeth were clenched, and he was growling while hyperventilating. The four of us gasped in shock at what we had just witnessed, and we were very mortified by it. The man then realized his mistake and stopped what he was doing. I mean, it's okay. I'll clear it up," he said in a calmer, more patient tone. We couldn't believe what happened at this time. Something wasn't right about him at all. Curse words are the scariest thing to a middle school. I like to think the author is a fully grown man. They remember the times of the tape recorder, of course. Remember them saying that. Okay. He then went over to the table to get some napkins. We slowly backed away from him so we didn't get in his way. The man then began to clean up the mess that was accidentally made, and we stood there in disbelief, watching him. The party lasted for about 3 to 4 hours into the tape. Wow, that is a massive tape. Oh my gosh. We were having lots of fun despite what happened. We played games, ate more pizza, had lots of Christmas candy, did more dancing and singing, and even chatted with each other. I did some Christmas finger painting with Binky, and we had some fun together. I drew a cute snowman with lots of snowflakes. Binky just did a handprint. He wanted me to put my handprint on it too, so I did. After that, he signed his name. I think that means signed his name on it with red paint and gave it to me to keep for memories. He was such a sweet robot baby boy. Oh, hello, Raposo. I'm so sorry, I cannot read your username. I cannot pronounce that. Dario. Can I call you Raposo? How are you doing? We are just reading a creepypasta by the name of, what is it? The Mysterious Christmas Tape. It has taken a wild turn. Okay. This is akin to Shakespeare. Yeah. This is wonderful. No, I love this. Okay. My nickname is hard for someone. Thank you for following. Oh my gosh, I appreciate it so much. Thank you. By the way, you're awesome. By the way, you're wonderful. Okay. Alright, I need to finish this quickly. Because oh gosh, in 9 minutes an alarm will go off and everyone in the house will wake up. And there will be lots of noise. Okay. Ollie and Billy were gulping down soda and competed against each other to see who could burp the loudest. Okay. And afterwards, they burped Christmas songs together and we laughed our asses off. That was the best part of the whole party, but unfortunately, it was now time to go. We were saddened by that because we didn't want the party to end yet, but things like parties don't last forever. So true. As we were putting our coats, scarves, mittens, and hats back on, the guy was taking down the rest of the decorations and putting them away. Suddenly, a cell phone rang. and it was the guy's phone that was ringing. "I have to take this," he said, as he took out the smartphone. He quickly went into the kitchen with the rest of the decorations as well. Suddenly we heard a very hard door slam in the distance, which made us jump in fear. We didn't see who was talking to because we didn't want to make him angry, so we stayed in the living room and waited. About 4 minutes later, we heard a door open, and the guy came out of the kitchen. He told us that we had to get going right now. Before we headed out the door, we smelled something burning. Billy turned around to see where the smell was coming from. Immediately his face turned into complete shock as he gasped. He saw black smoke coming from the kitchen. We were mortified by the sight of the smoke. "Excuse me, there is smoke coming from the kitchen," Billy said worriedly as he informed the guy. "We need to go now," the guy said in a serious tone. But there's smoke," Billy said, still worried. "Let's go," the guy yelled. Billy trembled in fear as he had a blank expression on his face. We were terrified by this as well. He seemed not to care about the smoke and was more worried about leaving. "Okay," Billy said in fear, and he was still frightened by the man. We then went out the door, and the guy told us to get in the van immediately as he violently slammed the front door and locked it, which made us all jump and tremble in fear again. It was now night time, and it was much colder outside. We shivered, and our teeth were chattering from the cold as we got into the warm van. We then put our seat belts on and sat as we waited for the guy to come. He then got in the van and started it up. "Do you want Christmas music or not?" he asked in an annoyed tone. We nodded yes, and we were still quite scared of him. The man then turned on the radio, and Landslide by Fleetwood Mac was playing. We didn't sing along to the song as we weren't in a cheerful mood at the moment, and just kept quiet. He then shifted the gear and began to drive off. It was about 20 to 25 minutes into the drive as we were on the highway. The boys and I were singing along to "Everything's Gonna Be Cool This Christmas" by the Eels. As we were having fun, I noticed that the man missed the turn for the exit. I was told earlier that I was getting dropped off first, so I informed him that he had forgotten to turn at the exit, but he said absolutely nothing and kept on driving. It's like when Highway to Hell was mentioned in Deep Woods. Yeah. Oh my god, dude, that was the best part. That was, yeah. I don't know. I think that last, like, Deep Woods installment, that's got to be intentionally corny, right? Like, there's no way they could write, like, the first few and then that one, surely. Anyway. It has to be, yeah, it's gotta be, surely. We all looked at each other in confusion. Billy then informed him that he had missed the turn for the exit to my hometown. He completely ignored him, too. Suddenly, a phone started ringing, and this time it was Billy's phone that was ringing. He took out his smartphone, and it was his mom, Bonita, that was calling. Bonita. He then picked it up and greeted her, but she was in distress. She told him that we missed the party and that everyone was waiting for us. Billy was confused by this statement. Kidnapping. Oh my gosh. I missed a paragraph. Billy was confused by this turned to face the guy driving. He slowly gave us an evil grin as he was still driving. We started to tremble in fear once again, and as Bonita was saying something else, the phone cut off. Billy then looked at his phone as it immediately shut itself down despite having a high battery percentage. Billy gulped in fear as he had a blank expression on his face, and so did the rest of us. The man then turned left on the highway and was heading towards a highway tunnel. Nothing good ever happens in tunnels. That was me. That's not in the story. I just said that. That's not part of the story. Sorry. The vehicle went down the road ramp and entered the tunnel. As we were going through the tunnel, it was starting to get unusually hotter than it did in the van, and we began to sweat like crazy and hyperventilate. The music became distorted and slow as the driver started to drive faster. At the end of the tunnel, we saw an orange light, and as we looked closer, we realized that the light was actually fire. We started to panic at this point. "What's the matter? Aren't you guys having fun?" the guy said in an evil tone. "Who are you?" we screamed. The guy turned around and revealed his true identity. "I am Lemuel," he said, as his voice quickly turned demonic. Is that a character in Roly Poly Oly? I don't know, I've not watched it. This guy ride a van with free candy on the side, literally, he's just taking people away. Yeah. I don't know. He's a little strange, I think. I think he might be the devil. Yeah. Okay. The music suddenly changed to heavy metal and was no longer distorted Christmas music. Oh my god, it's just like Bleed by Meshuggah. Fuck yeah. Chapter 4, Avenged Sevenfold. Okay. Lemuel looked like a black, hideous gargoyle with razor-sharp teeth. That's my song reference, by the way. I had to put, that's me putting them in. Yeah, I gotta get mine in there as well. Of course. Alright. He had 2 horns on the top of his head, and he had big, scary wings. If he's not the devil, I'm crazy. Korn started playing on the radio and I started crying. It's just that one part from Freak on a Leash where he's like da bom da 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 ma da bom da 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 ma. Okay. Sorry. Alright, let me read this again. Immersive page turn. Lemuel looked like a black, hideous gargoyle with razor-sharp teeth. He had 2 horns on the top of his head. He had big, scary wings and a slightly muscular body. And yellow eyes. We all screamed at the sight of this unholy monstrosity as he continued to laugh maniacally. The 4 of us attempted to unbuckle our seatbelts, but they wouldn't unbuckle. Then Ollie and Billy tried to open the van doors, but they wouldn't budge as if they were jammed. Lemuel then stepped on the gas brake, and the vehicle went unbelievably fast. We all slammed back into our seats by the force of the speed. We got closer and closer to the portal of hell, and Binky began to cry and wobble in fear. I got closer to Binky and held him tight. This vehicle was almost near hell, as Lemuel continued his evil laugh. The 4 of us let out a long scream as we were approaching hell. Okay, we've established that it's hell. Oh my god. Okay. Suddenly, the entire rescue was engulfed in flames, and the scream turned into a blood-curdling scream as Lemuel laughed once more. The tape abruptly stopped, and then went back to the blue screen. I immediately ejected the tape from the VCR and threw it across the hall from the kitchen. The tape hit the front door and broke into pieces. I then ran into the kitchen and started texting my grandma, telling her what had just happened. She texted me back and told me that she and my sister were on their way back. Phew. Thank God the day is saved. I'm just picturing Carcat Ventus. Yes, lightning McQueen. Yeah. Speed is key. Okay. As we all know, hell is full of fire, curse words, and Slipknot. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah. And also reruns of Big Mouth. Yeah. Okay. Truly hellish. Okay. About 30 minutes later, my grandma and my sister came through the door with the groceries as I was standing there, completely stunned. My grandmother asked me what happened. I told her the whole story as I showed her the tape that was broken on the floor. She couldn't believe what I told her. She then threatened to inform the authorities, but I told her that they would be of no help to us. I decided that I would do some research on it instead. We agreed, and she and my sister started putting away the groceries. Later on during the night, I went onto my tablet and began researching this alleged tape, but ended up empty-handed as there was no information on it whatsoever. So I decided to take it up with the experts and contacted one through email on a website. Days went by, and I didn't get a reply until one very day that I finally did. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear people moving in the background. Yeah, they are awake now. So, yeah, it is. It is currently 4:05 a.m. Okay. I was going to Gmail to check on any new emails, and I got a reply from a guy who was an expert on the paranormal. What he said really shocked me. He told me that the mysterious tape that had seemed like a home video was actually a dream tape. What is a dream tape? He gave me a description of what a dream tapes were. So here it goes. Okay, you guys ready? You guys ready for dream tapes? You're all good, but I'm not sure if this story is. Dude, I can't believe I am reading this at 4 a.m. That is so scary. That is so scary. Okay. Dream tapes. Dream tapes, dream films, or nightmare tapes are a legendary phenomenon in which an individual's dreams, and in parentheses, bad ones, are taken, whether it be a past dream or a dream that is yet to come, and put into a home video device such as a DVD, film reel, or more commonly, VHS, and can disguise itself as a home video or a movie. This occurrence dates back to the early 20th century, when home media was at its beginning and wasn't very common due to high costs. This occurrence can happen to all people of all ages. The dream tapes, which were called dream films at the time, were very obscure, and the majority of these were unreported for unknown reasons. The earliest occurrence that was reported in June 1909 in Ireland, where a 3-year-old boy witnessed one while cleaning his room, and found a film reel that was under his bed in perfect shape. It was a dream film about him and his family having fun on a trip when it suddenly turned dark, as his parents mysteriously vanished without a trace, and he couldn't find them anywhere. Everyone was refusing to help him, as they were very rude to him and told him off. Poor guy, poor little Irish boy, oh my gosh. Tragic, tragic character. Since nobody cared, he began to cry, and the film abruptly ended there. He became traumatized after watching it, and for the rest of his life he suffered from mental illness and was never the same again until his death decades later. Wait, so after his death he was the same again? Wait, no. No, that doesn't make sense. Sorry. I'm stupid. Others reported witnesses. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. No, that's just me being dyslexic. Others reported witnessing the films appearing in front of them, or in other places in the house, which contained more nightmarish dreams that were more disturbing, or so bizarre that they were hard to explain. That is just my dreams. That is just my dreams. That is the only dreams I remember, are the ones that don't make any sense. Okay. Some people even committed unaliving. Yeah. For years, experts have been researching this, and it is possible that these occurrences could be linked to the paranormal in some way, or even an evil entity of some kind. Nobody knows why it happens, but there has to be a reason behind it. Since these occurrences are more common nowadays, it'd be a lot easier to analyze, but people tend to destroy them afterwards, so experts can't dig deeper into it. Deep digger into it, sorry. He told me that the next time I come across another dream tape, to not destroy the evidence and report it so that experts like him can analyze the subject further. It was a lot to read, but it was worth the time. I showed my grandma the email I got from the guy, and she was completely dumbfounded by what she read. She didn't think that something like that would exist, and neither did I. Oh, sorry, wait. That's 2 pages. There we go. You ever... As time went by, I started to keep an eye out for any dream tapes that I may come across, or any dreams I might come across in my sleep. Furthermore, my family pitched in as well, as our community... Oh, wait, sorry. Furthermore, my family pitched in as well as our community to spread the word about it. And to this very day, I still haven't run into any more dream tapes, or had the same dream from the tape. The end. Okay, I need to read chat. Sorry, I logged in for that last part. And I haven't been reading chat. Okay. Let me put this book down. That was The Mysterious Christmas Tape, written by Brittany B. I enjoyed it. That was a good story. That was a really good story. Lots of character depth. Yeah. Okay, what are you guys saying? Mental illness. The rest of their life. Yeah, me too, brother. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh no, Sarah. Oh dear. Oh dear. I hope your brain is okay. I hope your brain is okay. Yeah. I hope your brain is okay. process out of your brain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see people do that in ASMR a lot, and I don't know how to do it. Okay. Satan burns roly poly oly fanfics on DVDs. Oh gosh. It's like that book Fahrenheit 451. Except it's roly poly oly DVDs. It's like play a DVD on reverse to see some secret message. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like how people hear like demonic messages in songs and such. Okay. What do you mean their pizza preferences had no bearing on the plot? Yeah, I know, right? Like, I feel like that should have been part of it. I didn't see the pizza reference. Yeah, I know. That's the point. They should have. I'm surprised that didn't come back. Maybe I will have to go back and see if that has any like symbolic meaning that I didn't catch like the first time around. You know what I mean? Like maybe it was like symbolizing something with the characters. Please, you ain't get the tequila worm out of my brain. No, that's gotta stay. That's gotta stay in there. That's gotta stay in there so it, that's good for your brain. That catches all the bad bacteria. That's what it eats. It eats all the bad thoughts. It eats all the bad thoughts. You know, all those, like, cringe memories that you can't remember. It eats those. The tequila worm, the tequila worm, the tequila worm. Like, you know, when you do something cringe and you're like, oh my god, I hope I don't remember this in the shower, like in 2 years from now. And then you don't. You have the tequila worm to thank for that. Yeah. Okay. It was a story indeed. Yeah, that story. Yeah, that was a story. You know I'm not an American, right? That's really good. Or not good, sorry. Sorry, Sarah, I didn't mean it for it to come out like that. I just mean, I am not an American either. I am actually British in it. I am British. I can understand almost all the things you say. Okay. Well, I respect everyone that is able to learn 2 languages. I think that is very, very, very impressive. Yeah. Half cheese, half pepperoni, heaven and hell. Oh my god, wait. Which one's heaven? Which one's heaven? Is pepperoni heaven or is pepperoni hell? I don't know. Also, let me put your Christmas hat on. Give me just 1 second. Give me just 1 second. How do I mute myself? Okay. There we go. I need to keep you warm. Yeah. It is very cold. I just want in my head Fox sounds like. And racing tracks. Okay. No, I agree. No. Americans are very cool. Americans are very cool. You guys have a lot of cheese tunnels. I like your cheese tunnels. I wish we had cheese tunnels. Cheese is heaven to me. Okay, I see. Pepperoni is my heaven. Actually, that reminds me. I'm actually gonna make pizza this week. I haven't done it in a while. Last time I did it, my rabbit jumped into the pizza. She jumped into the pizza, and the pizza was ruined, and her little feet were burned. I'm kidding, they weren't burned too bad. She was okay. But the pizza was not. I prefer to order some pastel. It is the name of a food here. Ah, okay, okay. I gotta look that up. Brazilian pastel. Authentic Brazilian pastel recipe with homemade dough. Oh, this looks kind of cool. This looks very yummy. This looks very yummy. Yeah. What is this? What is this? Consisting of a half circle or a rectangular shape, thin crust pies with assorted fillings. Okay. It looks yummy. It looks yummy. I would definitely scran some of those. Finish my model before my live 2D license expires. Oh gosh. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. I need you to finish the model. You gotta. You have to do it. You have to finish the model. If you don't, you have no idea how consequential that will be for reality. Oh, hello, Jomar. How are you doing? Are you doing alright? How was your Christmas? Did you have a good Christmas? Have I asked you that already? What's wrong, Jomar? You seem confused. Are you okay? So tasty, you can find it almost in all places. Okay. I hope the tequila worm motivates me to finish it. I hope so too. Sure it will. You can even find the street. Okay. It's like Brazilian street food. Yummy. If I ever come across it, I will give it a try. I could also just make it. I guess there's recipes. Speak louder, Sonny. We can't hear you in the back row. Dude, it's 4 a.m. It's 4:20 a.m. What am I supposed to do? I think if I did that, it would break your ears. What? Jomar, do you need hearing aids? Do you need hearing aids? Oh, by the way, guys, shout out to Jomar. I've showed it on stream already, but let's see. Wait, can I? Let me see if I can show you what Jomar drew for me that I like very, very much. Gosh, where is it? Okay, wait. Let me show you. Oh wait, it's too big. It's very large. It's very large on my screen. Look at this. There we go. Isn't that adorable? It's me, and there's mail. Like 5 rupees, like $1. Okay. Just doing some Invader Zim reference, lol. Okay, I see. I understand. I get it. Would it? Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. Show us. He is going to Smash Bros. Look at the letter. Yeah, wait. Oh my god, big. Yeah, look. The letter's got the Smash Bros. Logo on it. I'm gonna be in Smash, guys. What would my super be? just a gun. Maybe I just shoot them. Okay. Anyway, I would be like Doctor Strange. I would like conjure up like clones or something. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But before I go, and I do need to go. Shout out to Jomar. And shout out to Sarah as well. Wait. Sarah doesn't stream yet. I don't think, but. Maybe in the future. Yeah. But wait, let's see. Can I give a shout out to Jomar? How do I do that? Appreciate the shout out anyways. Yeah. Sorry. I would show like the thing that you drew on stream as well. But it's got your model in it, and I don't want to like leak your model before you've like, started it. If you don't want it to be like shown, you could. I don't give. Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Let me shout out Jomar, and then I'll show the thing that you drew as well. Hold on. I'm still not accustomed to streaming. How do I shout out Jomar? Okay, wait. I got it. / shout out Jomar JV. Yeah, wait, okay. Hopefully that worked. Hopefully I didn't shout out Jomar TV again, because I did that last time. Or I raided like some random guy called Jomar TV. Alright. Smash that follow button. But yeah, Jomar's a really cool artist, and he does like art streams and such. And I need to ask him, Jomar, I have a question for you. About streaming that I need to ask you, but I will ask you in Discord at some point if that is okay. If that is okay with you. Okay. I was gonna say they would put us to sleep with ASMR like Pikachu. What is Pikachu? I don't know what that is. Okay, whisper. Sorry. But yeah, I gotta go now. But this book was really good. We read creepypastas, Jomar. We read creepypastas. One of them was a Christmas creepypasta. It was really, really scary. Jomar, Christmas isn't over for you yet, is it? But my justification for still doing the Christmas theme tonight is I made the Christmas background, so I'm gonna use it for more than one stream. That is my justification. Next is history. I was here for everything. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see. You are just lurking. I gotcha. Next one can be the Jeff story. I mean, I would, but I already know the Jeff story. I don't know. It feels weird, like, reading stuff that I already know, but I don't know. I feel like I'll need to find something. I'll need to find, like, a hidden gem. To read next time. Yeah. Jane the Killer was awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, Jane is like so freaking cool, bro. She's literally like the Evanescence. She's literally like the Evanescence woman with the eyes. Wake me up inside. Alright. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. I haven't showed your art yet. Wait. Ba-ba-bam. I gotta show this. I gotta show this thing. Look at this. Okay, so do you guys know Deltarune? He's a YouTuber and he made a Jack Skellington parody vid years ago. Oh, okay, I see. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, do you guys know Deltarune? It's like Chris and Des from Deltarune. And then that's me, Des. And then that's Saru. Look. This is Saru's model that she is working on very hard. Can I give... Oh, shout out to Saru, by the way. Wait. Sorry, I just like doing this. I feel like I have, like... I don't know. Abilities. What's your freaking username? Saru74. Oh my gosh, okay. That's me, Chris. Yeah. Angle XY rigging is beating my ass so hard. Dude, same. That is the one that I struggle with so much. Like, you know how you have like the, it's like you tweak something and then you don't realize like how many, like different, like layers it is actually like bound to that thing, so you end up having to tweak that parameter for like 5 different like things. I don't know. It's just a lot more work to adjust something than it always seems like initially. You know what I mean? Synthesize corners, yeah. I am not going to look up to the right. I'm not going to look up in general because my upward angles are really, really terrible. It's like, I've tried tweaking them so many times and I just can't get it, dude. I just can't make it look good. Which is kind of why I want to make a whole new model at some point. Okay. Each eye is like 12 layers, I get it. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. My eye has like 1 layer and it is white. This is what I get for having a model for makeup. Oh my gosh. Your model is looking really, really cool though. Your model is looking really, really cool. I love it. And I love the little keychain that it has. But I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it for you. Are you gonna do like a like a debut at some point? Do you have a debut of the plans? I will try to make a model, but not now. It is quite the undertaking. It is quite the undertaking. Yeah. Mine is just a sprite sheet. What do you mean? Yours is like a 3D model, isn't it? I thought yours was like 3D. Oh wait, do you mean like the facial expressions? And like the mouth? Okay, I see what you mean. My eyes and mouth are just a sprite sheet. Okay. Yeah. I get you. It's got like that PlayStation 1 style. It looks really good though. It definitely, it fits the vibe. It fits the vibe for sure. Did you make it in Blender? Is that a Blender thing? My PC is a little Bedford. Yeah, I don't know. You can hear like my fan going in the background, like my PC is struggling with this as well. I'm not even like running any games. It's just VTube Studio. And, like, you look at my model, it's not exactly the, like, most high resolution thing ever, so it is pretty demanding on the PC, if I have to be honest. Yeah. I used ZBrush, Blender, Ace Sprite, in that order. Okay. I've heard of Ace Sprite, but I forgot what I was using it for. I used it for something, but I don't remember what it was. I think it was like a university thing. It's high resolution and it hurts. I will make a different one at some point. I will make a new higher resolution model at some point. Just not for the foreseeable future. But yeah, Cyrus is looking really, really cool. And Joe Mars is also really, really cool. Both fit their respective vibes. Yeah. My model is going to look like a fox. The reason, maybe just a little reason I love fox, and my nickname is Raposo. Is Raposo Brazilian or Spanish for fox? I do not know. Yeah, but next time I will just use the UCU paint add-on in Blender for texture painting and lower the resolution. Okay. I have not heard of that, but if I ever need to do more PlayStation 1 style things, I will remember that. Yeah. Brazilian. Okay. Twitch TOS, please do not ban my design. Saru, if you look at half the things that are on Twitch, trust me, it's fine. I'm sure you will be fine. And if not, just like don't show the rest of your model, just show like the head. It's fine. No, I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm writing another layer for a jacket just in case I want to do some Christian streaming. Oh my gosh. Make it a really cool jacket. Yeah. You are the fashion guru, so I'm sure whatever clothing items you choose will be really cool. I'm Brazilian too, but I know English because of games. Okay. I see. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive that you've been able to get to this level from games. You are pretty fluent. I understand most of the things that you say. Oh my gosh, that was my shoulder. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, that was my back. I'm so sorry. My spinal column just extended like a telescope. Okay. If Shy Lily can get away with it, then so can I. For sure. For sure. Okay. I really have to go now. I really gotta go now, guys. But thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. I hope you are having a wonderful time wherever you are, whatever time it may be for you guys. Oh my god, XR Bunny 120. Hello. We are just ending. I'm so sorry. I am so very sorry. But thank you for dropping by anyway. I appreciate it. By the way, you can call Fox in Portuguese Raposo, but for my name, just change the last A to O. Oh, Raposa. Okay, I see. I'm learning so many languages today. Oh my gosh. I've learned like 2 languages today. Holy cow. That is incredible. like Cyrus says. Have a good day. Tipo, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. If that means something inappropriate, I don't want to say it. But yeah. Okay. Alright, good night, y'all. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you, Raposo, for the follow. Wait. One more thing. Someone followed me yesterday, and I didn't have my notifications on for some reason, so I didn't see it, so I didn't thank them. So, thank you, March All Art, for the follow. If you ever hear this, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Alright. Good night, y'all. Good night. Have a wonderful